What up? It's your boy T-Burn Reaction. Today's Wrestling Wednesday. It's gonna be a very small one because a lot of there's enough videos I have for it as well too to do it though. So anyway, first one we'll do is the one's pretty much gonna be some leftovers that I'll make up for it to finally check out. So the first one we want to check out is from let's get the channel real quick. It is from Russell Gamia as well too, just in time for because wrestling games for Christmas. A lot of people probably get their wrestling games now or anything. And this one is called 10 Fastest Roster Edition to WWE games though. Yeah, and that's facts. And then if you notice that a lot of folks get an earlier input than the next one, like some you be surprised they get there quicker than the rest. You have though create them and stuff like that until the next game come, or unfortunately that won't happen because they get either cut or move to another game as well too, or don't even make it at all. Some even get pushed to DLCs. It takes a while to get to as well too. But other than that though, we'll look at the ones who did not have to wait for a DLC, or we had to wait to the next game since their debut, or did they return? They debut or return? No, I'm right. Debut in WWE as well too be added to the game. So without forcing, here the little man. Shout out to the little man TJ's right here. He's demanding right now. So anyway, we want to check out 10 faster roster addition to WWE video games. So let's check it out.
Since 2008, WWE games have had the option of adding DLC to their games, which means if your favorite new wrestler didn't make it into the main game, there's still a chance they could show up later as extra content. But back in the day, things were a lot different. If a wrestler debuted within 6 months or less before a game's release, chances were very slim that they'd be in there from the get-go, and you'd be waiting one whole year to see them in a game. Well, that's if they're still around. In the era of no DLC, it meant that devs had to work super fast to include these fresh faces in time for launch. But before we dive into our list, just a quick heads up, we're not counting any DLC inclusions here. We're focusing on the times when game makers really hustle to get new wrestlers into the games by the release dates. DLC made adding new stars much easier, especially those debuting in that tricky 6-month window before a game dropped. But if you're curious about some of the latest DLC additions in WWE games, let us know in the comments and we might just explore that in our next video. But join us now as WrestleMania looks at the 10 latest roster additions to WWE games ever, not including DLC.
Right.
Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're the first to know when we upload a video. Number 10, Taz Royal Rumble Arcade.
Oh,
The debut of Taz at the 2000 Royal Rumble was a memorable moment for WWE in the year 2000, and especially for fans who had been a fan of his run in ECW before debuting in WWE. His appearance in WWE was a continuation of ECW talent moving on from ECW to join the WWE brand. Only a few months prior had the Dudley Boys made the jump from ECW to WWE. But interestingly, even they didn't make the cut for the 2000 release of Royal Rumble for the arcade. This quick inclusion of Taz in the Royal Rumble arcade game really says something. Despite his WWE career not quite hitting the high notes many fans expected, his appearance in the game so soon after debuting, and we're talking about a speedy 4 to 6 months here, kind of highlights his significance during his initial WWE days. It's interesting to note that other notable wrestlers who debuted around this time didn't get the same treatment of being rushed into the game as soon as possible. The developers really made an effort to feature Taz prominently. The exact release date of the arcade version is unknown, so we can't pin down the precise timing, but we do know it was at least months before the early August 2000 release of the Dreamcast version. The fact that they managed to get Taz into the game does make us wonder that maybe someone, perhaps WWE themselves, was keen on getting him into the game as quickly as possible. Number 9, Randy Orton, SmackDown Shut Your Mouth.
Yeah.
When Randy Orton stepped onto the WWE,
I had to look back. I was like wondering if Randy and Cena debuted at the same time. No, Randy when they debuted at the same time, but Randy was in the game quicker than everybody else. Though I was like wondering about it too, because I think I was like, it was around time I was like slowly not as fully watching WWE at the time, and I was like, wonder who's Randy Orton guys that came out of nowhere, and I mean this is before I knew we know now, but I was like at the time I'm like, oh, who this guy is? Like he's like definitely gotta be brand new and young, so yeah.
Seen in spring of 2002, he was part of a new generation poised to take the wrestling world by storm. His debut was the beginning of a journey that would eventually lead him to become one of the most accomplished and recognized wrestlers in WWE history. Orton's early days showcased his raw talent and potential, which was quickly noticed by WWE and its fans.
Hold on a second. I'm back.
Fans. Orton's inclusion in SmackDown Shut Your Mouth just 6 months after his debut was a testament to WWE's faith in his future success.
Yeah, some
This
good
period
feel. This
also
one.
saw the debuts of future superstars John Cena and Rey Mysterio, who despite their later prominence were not featured in the game. Orton's character in the game allowed players to witness the early stages of a wrestler who would later become a legend. Additionally, the game cleverly included presence in its creator superstar mode resembling Cena and Mysterio, and settled onto these emerging talents who were just beginning their own legendary journeys. Though we can't include them as they are just presence and not actual characters in the game.
Wow.
Number 8. Goldberg, WrestleMania
Yup.
19. Goldberg's debut in WWE in March of 2003 was a huge moment for fans of WWE who had also been watching WCW back when Goldberg was on his dominant run that made him one of the most well-known and popular stars of all time. His arrival in WWE was highly anticipated and fans were eager to see how the powerhouse would fare in the WWE landscape.
Remember,
Goldberg's WWE tenure
I remember making calls on him before he made his official debut, man. It was wild, but yes.
started with a bang, immediately positioning him as a top contender and a fan favorite on the Raw brand. Goldberg's inclusion in WrestleMania 19 for the GameCube just 6 months following his WWE debut was more than timely. It was essential. With Goldberg on the brink of becoming world champion and a key figure on the Raw brand, his presence in the game was practically a necessity. Notably, WrestleMania 19 was the first WWE game to feature Goldberg, with SmackDown Here Comes the Pain actually being the third, preceded by Raw 2, which was just a week
Raw 2.
after WrestleMania 19. For the players, this specific game, be it Raw 2 or WrestleMania 19, didn't make much of a difference. The important part was that they only had to wait about 6 months to play as Goldberg in a WWE game. This was a big deal, especially considering how much fans had been looking forward to seeing Goldberg in the virtual WWE universe. Number 7. Unmasked Kane, SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. Kane's unmasking on Raw in May of 2000.
Oh man, yeah, I remember they did that thing super quick, and if you look, that don't look like him at all, man. They just randomly made make him look like some ugly ass monster, some super ugly monsters, not looking like unmasked Kane. They just assumed that's what Kane looked like unmasked. That's all. I figured that's why he looked so whatever, because it was like they rushed that one.
2003 was one of the most memorable moments in Raw history. It revealed a new, more menacing side of the Kane character, which fans started to get interested in right away. And as you know, when fans get interested in a character that has debuted on TV, they really hope to see that character make the cut for the latest WWE game. And SmackDown Here Comes the Pain managed to do just that. Unmasked Kane was a very late addition, reflecting the significant change in his character just 5 months after it happened. The developers' effort to include this updated version of Kane was commendable, as it just made what was already a great game even better by staying current with the WWE storylines at the time. It was a testament to the game developers' dedication to keeping the current roster updated with the latest developments in WWE, which has always been proven to be tricky with every changing world of WWE.
Can you see it? That did not look like Kane, man. That did not look like him at all, man. They just assumed that what he would look like unmasked.
6. Steven Richards, No Mercy. Steven Richards' entry into No Mercy for the N64 is an interesting case. Originally, Big Show was slated for inclusion, but was ultimately removed due to being sent to OVW for additional training and weight loss in August of 2000. Steven Richards, who had debuted in June of 2000 with the Right to Censor gimmick, was his replacement, making it around 5 months from the debut to being in the game. And also by replacement,
Hold on a second. I'm back. You can see he got a little restless sitting in the little chair, so he's here with me. He's running too. Hopefully, you don't try to grab the mic and take my mic down like last time. Anyway, let's keep going.
don't just mean he was added to the roster instead of the Big Show, we mean that he literally took over his roster spot in the game's files. His inclusion as a Big Show spot in the game meant that all of Big Show's storylines in the game's championship mode were now played out with Richards instead.
Oh, wow.
This created a unique and somewhat humorous situation, as Richards, considered more of a jobber at the time, was now featured in main event level stories. This is something that is still talked about to this very day, with fans referencing the Richards Big Show swap in No Mercy when people are edited out of WWE TV. Number 5, Ultimo Dragon, SmackDown Here Comes the Pain.
That was
Ultimo
quick as well
Dragon's
too.
addition to SmackDown Here Comes the Pain was a complete surprise, even more so than Unmasked Kane. Dragon, who just made his WWE debut with his first SmackDown match in late June 2003, managed to secure a spot in the game within a mere
I
4
feel like they
months.
had to,
This
cause
rapid
man, cause
inclusion
he's
likely
that much
stemmed from
legend.
WWE's belief that they had found the next big luchador sensation akin to Rey Mysterio and wanted to capitalize on his popularity immediately. In hindsight, Ultimo Dragon's WWE journey didn't soar to the heights many anticipated, setting his game appearance in a somewhat humorous light. However, this move by the developers was crucial. Without their quick action, Ultimo Dragon may not have been featured in any WWE game, considering he left WWE by May of 2004, and most WWE games released by the end of the year. His timely inclusion in Here Comes the Pain not only gives fans a chance to play as this dynamic wrestler, but also preserved his brief WWE tenure in gaming history. Number 4, 3, and 2, NWO WrestleMania 18. The NWO's introduction to WWE in February 2002, featuring Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall, was a huge moment for WWE in 2002, as these were the three men that pretty much made WCW the monster it became in the mid-90s. A monster so big that it started to beat the WWE in the ratings war. This faction had been pivotal in WCW, and their arrival in WWE was a shocking moment to witness, seeing as this is the same faction only 6 years prior had been destroying the WWE on TV. The WWE version, while short-lived and not so good, was still a big moment in WWE history, as it gave us matchups like The Rock and Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 18. And knowing that the NWO arrival in WWE was going to be such a big deal, the developers of WrestleMania 18 for the GameCube had managed to include all three members of the NWO just 4 months after their debut. This inclusion was especially notable because Scott Hall was released from WWE in May of 2002.
That is true. That is true. I didn't think about that. This is the only one I don't think that WWE when on the SmackDown or SmackDown Raw, whatever this one is. Scott Hall wasn't on there though. Yeah, it was Hogan, Kevin Nash, and X-Pac instead.
Making it in the game and being the only game that year to include him, as he was cut from SmackDown Shut Your Mouth before release.
Shut Your Mouth, yep.
The developers of WrestleMania 18's rapid work to create new models and movesets for these wrestlers was a testament to their dedication to try and make the game as up to date as possible. I mean, it's called WrestleMania 18, and not including the NWO, who were all over the show, would have been a huge disappointment for fans who'd been expecting a game based on WrestleMania 18 to feature what was present on the show. Now, the final entry on the list comes with a bit of an asterisk, considering the unique circumstances that made its rapid inclusion possible. WrestleMania 18 truly deserves a main shout out here. It set a record for the quickest inclusion of a wrestler in a WWE video game following their TV debut, an impressive feat achieved in just 4 months. And number 1, Chris Jericho, WrestleMania 2000. Chris Jericho's WWE debut in August of 1999 was a major event, similar to the impact created by Big Show's arrival earlier that year. Making a high-profile switch from WCW to WWE, Jericho quickly rose to prominence in the rival promotion. Around this time, a new wrestling game was on the horizon, WrestleMania 2000 for the N64, developed by Akai, who interestingly had also transitioned from creating WCW games to taking the helm for WWE titles on the N64. Despite this, it seemed like Jericho had debuted just a bit too late to be included in the game's roster. But here's the asterisk for Jericho's case. His lightning-fast inclusion in WrestleMania 2000 for the N64, a mere 2 months after his debut, had a unique advantage. The developers Akai had already had a model for Jericho on their work with WCW vs NWO Revenge from the previous year. This pre-existing model is feasible to integrate him into the WWE game at such an unprecedented pace. This wasn't just a triumph of a game development, it was a clever use of resources that perfectly aligned with Jericho's meteoric rise in WWE, enabling fans to relive his debut excitement in a virtual format almost as quickly as it happened in real life. But there you have it, folks, 10 latest roster additions to WWE games ever, not including DLC. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling video game content.
Yeah, this was an interesting one as well too. Yeah, I was shocked about the art and because I had to remember was he the only one? He's like he literally the only one of the big four that was on Shut Your Mouth. I think no. Brock was on it too. Brock was on Shut Your Mouth as well too. Him and Orton was like the only two members of the Big Four OVW that was on SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, because Brock debuted earlier than he did, but still, it was like interesting that he got in this quicker than both Batista and Cena, seeing though that both of them, all three of them, pretty much debuted on the same day, pretty much around the same time though. So yeah. So other and like I said, I remember the Unmasked Kane, how they just pretty much made him look like a ugly, just a big ugly monster looking character. Not really what Unmasked Kane looked like. Pretty much look like Ozzy Yankem with a shave with bald head and a shaved face. The T Rich I ain't know too much about, but that's an interesting story right there. Ultimate Dragon, I did realize he did came in pretty quick as well too. But then WWE, that's something to think about, especially since Hall was not on the WWE Shut Your Mouth as well. And Chris Jericho, that was the clever way they did that as well too. So anyway, this was an interesting video to watch. But other than that, if you like my reaction, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's your boy T-Bird signing off. One love.